Tell me when you're ready.
Ready.
Hello.
Snappity snap, snappity snap. Great minds think alike, and great people like, you know, you and I dress alike.
Right. We didn't plan it. We didn't plan it.
Promise you we didn't, guys. Mel, always missing.
I know. I miss you so much. Last week, you know, I had an unexpected trip. And then, you know, whenever I do the time change thing, I'm like out of it for a few days. But I've missed you and I've thought of you a lot. How are you doing?
You've had like a hell of a journey in the last week. I've had people messaging me, worried about you. It's like, yeah, I know her every move. Yeah. Because I speak to her on the phone like every second of the day. She's a busy girl, but it's so nice, actually. They've been really sweet messages, Mel, concerned about
so
you.
Great.
Yeah, and missing our duo. So today I thought, no, let's just have you and me again, because people love our connection and
I know.
genuinely be concerned.
Well, you know, when things are real and they're
No,
palpable.
you're a shill and I'm a CIA agent.
Oh, you have no idea what I am. I just read an article about me that me and like 12 other people were hopium apostles.
Yeah.
You know, we're these misleading hopium people. I'm like, oh, I'd rather have hopium than whatever else you're selling.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, let's put that in context, right? You know, we can either believe the mainstream media, which is just full of nonsense and crap. And then you have researchers and people like ourselves, or truthers, or whatever labels you want to give it, you know, and we are trying to sort of discern what the heck is going on the planet.
Right.
Not be, you know, not subordinate and acquiesce to the crap. I mean, surely by now, the absurdity of what's going on should tell people that, you know, things are not right. A year on, almost.
Hello. Yeah, I know. And, you know, and it's so... The one good thing about my travels, and yeah, I know so many people were worried, but honestly, I found out I had to go somewhere, and then it was like I was delayed, and then so I was flying, and it's too hard to do when I was there. So I appreciate people that like missed me, and I'm sad I missed you. But I got to tell you what I learned. Flying from New York to Houston to Vegas to back home, I encountered cab drivers, Uber drivers, bartenders, waitresses, everyday people in the casino or at the airports or whatever, and every person, I'm not joking, had two things to say. Why is there no flu? Why did they shut us down? One. And the other thing is, why don't they care that they cheated in the election?
People are waking up.
Social media might not like it, but I'll tell you, the American people, they might think that we're ignorant, but we're not stupid, you know? And at this point I'm seeing, and I'm not talking about Trump voters. I'm talking about people that didn't vote at all, most of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm really seeing people
beginning to wake up.
Keeping us apart. We still have the masks and the distancing and the isolating, but in interacting with people from all over the country, it was across the board. Why aren't they doing anything? What is going on? So, you know, so the dark winter, I think, is working.
Yeah, well, if you think back to when Trump was campaigning in 2020, and he sort of forewarned us about this. He forewarned us about everything. He forewarned us about what Biden's going to do. And this ultimately is, you know, showing us how Biden's ruining the economy, and just the layman's, the normies like myself, even in another country, we're seeing what's going on, and it's exposing. I think it's all done for, you know, for a reason. People are feeling very abandoned by Trump at the moment. And now people are actually waking up. The people who aren't perhaps on the conspiratorial arm and thinking that actually something's not right. I'll give you an example. One of my friends who opposed everything that I was doing, because he really hated Trump because of all the stuff with Syria. And this is the whole thing within the Asian and Muslim community. They think Trump is against them. And that's how the mainstream media has portrayed Syria and Palestine situation crisis. But look what's just happened today. And he sent me an article about something from CNN, and, you know, about all this commotion going on there again. Now, it's evident to me that people are slowly but surely starting to think, and I think we're in the right trajectory. We're on the right trajectory.
Right.
And that's good, you know, that's good, you know, and I'm feeling that here. People are fed up. They're really fed up. I'm actually, for the first time, a year on, Mel, a year in, the last 3 weeks have been horrendous for me as well, like just mentally, and with my health. I just forget like what I'm thinking, like my memory's just been crazy. I can't string a sentence together. Coming on these shows have been a little bit, you know, causing me a bit of anxiety. And it's today I finally felt a little bit like, you know, coherent. And it's like everything that I've been doing for a year or learning, it's like it's just wiped out of my memory. So are these ascension? Is this a part of what I'm going through with my health issues? I don't care. I'm still fighting. You know, we're still here. And
well, we don't have a choice, really, do we? If you look at the big picture, not just the micro, but if you look at the big picture, we're fighting a common enemy, the worldwide. And it's, if people still don't get that this is not about Trump or the US or UK or, you know, Saudi Arabia or anyone. No, this is about world domination of us all. And if people still don't get that we all share the common enemy, and that's why the alliance was formed, and they're still looking at, you know, a friend of mine went out the other night in New York City and went out with a bunch of people, bankers, smart people. They spent the whole time still bashing Trump. And he was like, you guys won. What is this all? Because it's all they have to talk about.
Yeah.
Even the news, it's like they'll say all this stuff about Joe Biden, never report any news. But most of the time, they're still talking about Trump. And it's like, what does it take? It's derangement, you know? And
it is complete derangement on a spiritual context, Mel. It's negative reptilian energy that's going through. Yeah. And I know this may not make sense to a lot of people, but it's just the frequency of how people have been programmed.
Right.
And there's so many layers and interdimensions into this that, you know, when we're looking at it through the naked lenses, naked eye, we're just seeing things at third dimensional lenses. But what really essentially is happening is so much of how people are wired. And to sort of have this knee-jerk reaction to the name, it's a programming. So you just mentioned Trump, and these people that have been gotten Trump.
Yeah, but like it's also like,
you know,
if you guys won and this is what you wanted, why aren't you talking about all the positive things you think Biden's doing and how great the country's doing?
Exactly.
What all you talked about was everything Trump did wrong for 4 years, but right now, why aren't you talking about how much Biden's doing right? You know, why aren't you just so excited? You won, you got him out of there. Shouldn't that be the focus? No, no, because they're addicted to blaming Trump and blaming others for everything that's wrong. And they don't even see that they're just pawns in a game. None of us matter to the people that we're fighting. Okay. Not one person on this planet, human being, not in their group of, you know, elite billionaire, trillionaire, quadrillionaire, banking cabal, celebrity, blah, blah, blah. Whoever's not in that little 3,000 people I say about, we don't matter. This is not what the whole goal of this great reset, you know, of this UN thing is really to have a ruling class and serfs, no middle class, no middle class. It's also about eugenics, which people I think don't really understand what we're saying. I think they think like abortion or whatever. No, eugenics is that these people are the same people from Nazi Germany that believe that there is a superior race and they are in it, and the 9.9 billion people left are not, you know what I mean? So it's also still the same one world government, one world order, one world military that the EU is their first experiment. It's not going that great, but I really think, you know, people have to stop looking at like the micro and look at the macro, because the macro is what we have together. Again, in my country, your country, they've pushed this diversity thing. I mean, the hatred towards white people being spewed at our colleges by our government, by our corporations is so extreme and so ugly, and nobody's pushing back, and all they're doing is creating it. And, you know, America is still 60% white. Okay. So I don't know why, to what end This can't be to a good end. This isn't a good thing for the Black community or the Hispanic community or the white community or the Indian or Asian community. This is horrible. And it's making the largest amount of population, demonizing them for the good of the smaller, with still a feeling of victim, like you're a victim. Well, in America, you're not a victim, okay? You're just not. And the whole thing, but it's on a global scale, if you think about it, with you and me often talking from two different places, but the same language. It's the same thing in all of our countries. It's our government has become despotic, no longer puts, or if they haven't for 50 years, we the people first. It's our countries, you know, and they should be working for us and for the good of humanity and for the good of us. And instead, in our countries, they're only working for themselves to get us into the globalist agenda. And then what do they think is going to happen to them then? Exactly. You know, all these leaders pushing us to the Great Reset, do they somehow think that they're going to end up being any better off than we are? No, because they're not in that club that's running the show. So, you know, if you look at it a little different, you know, and these people that say that like we're selling hopium or whatever. No. God is
what is the choice though there, Mel? You seriously, I mean, here in the UK it feels dystopian, but you know, it really does. And I like I said earlier, I feel quite it's emotionally taxing now because it feels like Groundhog Day every day. And I look, you know, oh, you guys are making money from these shows that you're doing, and there's just this pick. And I generally am okay with all of this stuff, as in like I water off a duck's back. But just lately, where I've become a little bit, I won't use the word despondent, but like impatient now, as to like I want to come out, I want to just leave the country, but we can't because of having the vaccines, and you know, to be able to travel, you know, you can't travel without having the vaccine now, and coming back in quarantine for 10 days, and if not, you'll get jailed if you lie about where you've come from for 10 years. You know, there's going to be a lot of protests on the 20th of March globally, and this is a clear sign that there is, you know, people have woken up and there is a global revolution happening. It's not just in the US. Everything that's going on there is so important for the rest of the world, though. And you know, the media is drip feeding information where people are beginning to question things, and I think again this is a very deliberate thing by the white hats. This is just my own opinion, so people don't bash me. And I think this is just the showing and exposing of that. So Trump's had to move away. He's had to move away to show people that, okay, look, when I go away, they've completely undone all the good things that he put in place. And now it's just like, guys, well, you know, you wanted all the people who loved Biden, the Biden lovers and the Trump bashers. Well, look, you made your bed and lay in it and deal with the consequences, and then realize energetically, psychologically, spiritually, every single way how this is going to impact you and your mental frame of mind. And people are losing their crap, you know. I
don't think in America, I don't think anyone voted for Biden. I think they either voted for or against Trump.
Yeah, I mean, like I've got a lot of the Asian people, though, who have been really happy. The people that I'm just saying this, frankly, and I don't like care how this is going to be perceived. It is factual. A lot of the shit that I got thrown at me was from the Asian community. The first to come to me and say, thank God now that you can shut your mouth, re-Trump. You know, now Biden, the legitimate president, has again, you can just go away. No, I had the abuse and I had enough of it. Seriously.
Me too.
But it was from my people, and I was disappointed. And I'm not saying that everybody's like that.
You've been lied to so extremely.
I know.
I have a friend here from Pakistan. He is so convinced Trump is like a racist hater of Muslims. And it's not even like remotely true. But you know what? I've decided people can believe what they want to believe.
Exactly.
I don't want to talk to people who are telling me without proof, without debating me with facts and stuff, that I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, so be it.
On that point, Mel, like, you know, we in good faith think and feel, no, with all the research that we've done and seeing the trajectory this is going in, what are your thoughts on the other side of this? So however this pans out, however everything gets exposed, is it going to happen by the 4th of March? I personally don't think so. We've only got a few days. Then there's April, which is the next milestone that people are kind of having that hopium towards whatever is going to happen in my view.
Right,
and it's going to be exposed as and when it's meant to in the timeline. Is it when we wake up? Is it when everybody wakes up? Or is there just a process of the showing, exposing through the media? But the other side of this, what do you think, like the people that you just mentioned, where you just like, I don't want to even speak to them. Is it like a clear-cut line down the line where there's just this divide of where people are at mentally? And
no,
like our frequencies
so.
have just changed. And are we going to be able to reintegrate again?
Well, here's my thing. Like I said, I am about the bigger picture and the good versus evil and God versus Satan. You know, I believe that this is where we are right now and that it's biblical. The one thing I will tell you is last weekend I was invited, and I'm very blessed and proud and happy that I was, because I didn't know what I was walking into. I was invited to a screening of a movie called The Sound of Freedom with Jim Caviezel and a bunch of people. And it was hosted by a bunch of people like us that get attacked, you know, and that are...
I cried when I saw the trailer.
You have no idea. Oh my God. First of all, it's one of the best movies I've seen in 15 years, easily, in terms of casting, crew, the movie, the script. Caviezel has a gift from God.
He's brilliant.
The children in it, you will never forget their faces. But what I can tell you, and I don't believe it's an accident time-wise, and part of the reason we were invited is because people need to see this movie. They must see this movie. And the reason I say that is because, as I've been talking about, watch out for the Epstein boomerang. It's not gone, and it'll bring down the house. And after you see this movie and the way that they made it, every person, when the Epstein boomerang hits, will agree. If you were on that island and you saw what was going on there and you said nothing, even if you didn't participate in pedophilia or you didn't participate in satanic ritual stuff, if you were there and you saw what was going on there and you did not report it, you were guilty of a crime.
Yeah. And
it's a major crime, and you got to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing about this film, first of all, I have to tell you, because you're in the same crowd as me, and I know a lot of you wanted to come, but you can't get out of Europe. But I have to tell you, these are good people. They can say what they want about any of these hopium dealers, because some of them in the article with me were on there, and I know some were invited, most, and like Juan O'Savin and all these people that have been banned and purged and terminated like me are really, really good humans who really, more than anything else, like you and I have been saying, that this has been about the children. What's going to bring us together is when the boomerang comes, when the Epstein case is revealed for what it is, and it touches Hollywood, sports figures, politicians, philanthropists, royals. Every elite is involved in one way or another, and bankers, you know, top of the top, Epstein's friends, you know, and it also outs Hollywood in a way. This is why we were there, because this is the kind of movie, you know, he happened to do. This guy is the real deal. I talking to him, he's just an amazing human who definitely has a gift from God. But when he did Passion of the Christ, same thing. Everyone said, why would you do that movie? You know, like it's a career killer or whatever. 200 million people have seen that movie, and many people watch it every year on Easter. So, you know, he really is guided by God. And this movie is about this guy, Tim Ballard. True story. This guy is such a hero. Again, DHS, left DHS to do this full time with Operation Underground Railroad. They've saved thousands.
He had a bad spin as well, didn't he, Tim Ballard?
Oh my God. They've saved so many children, you know, and gotten so many elite traffickers. But what they do show are a couple things that we saw on the boards. So people can say whatever they want, but I wouldn't know about this stuff if I didn't ever see those boards. And I'm talking about the original one, not the Akun, 8chan, 4chan. I'm talking about the ones that led me down the rabbit hole that I see coming with this Epstein case. And look, there's no doubt in my mind when this is revealed and the truth comes out, and it will. These guys are certain justice will be seen, and it's not that far away. It'll bring everyone together, because once people realize the enormity that this child trafficking and elite child sex trafficking ring has taken over for the billionaire class, from oil and drugs and gun running. Now the big commodity are children. There's 800,000 kids go missing every year in America, 1.2 million in the world that we know of, you know, most from places that they're never seen again.
Yeah.
And this movie sets it up. And after you watch it, then when the Epstein case hits, you're not like, Netflix whitewashed it. That's not what was going on there. They were trafficking children from Haiti. And
Netflix whitewashed. It's such a misrepresentation of the truth.
So bad. People watched it and thought, God, that's awful. And I'm thinking, that's not even close to what happened there.
No.
And it's not just there. There's many islands. But, you know, it does start out with that thing. I know you and I probably went through it as kids, where like they approach your parents and they're like, oh, you'd be a great actor. You should audition for this. You know, Disney does them all over the world. And so do other people. These promising like fame and fortune in Hollywood. I used to see ads for it when I was in Florida, like bring your kids, like 8 to 15 auditions for That Kid's Got Talent or whatever. Starts like that. And then you see how these kids get picked, stolen, groomed. I mean, and yet the acting is so on. And the thing is, the movie's hard to watch, but it's so well done. It had to be made by these people at this time. Caviezel had to be the star, this script, these actors, but you're in it. You're in it. And you're watching it go down and you're thinking, oh my God, are these people are these people that evil? Are they that evil? Yeah, they are. And that's where I think the game change comes.
I was speaking to my dear friend Aisha yesterday and the day before, and we were speaking about this exactly. And I get a lump in my throat, so excuse me if I find this topic like it just overwhelms me, and I found it difficult to share the trailer because with all this stuff going on, I think full moon energies again, full moon energies again,
right.
And then it just like it's been about 18th of March was when we got locked down last year. Around about 3 days later, I came across all this info. With my lovely friend Monique, and you know, then the rest was history, you know, and I'm here where I am now, and I went really deep down the rabbit hole. But I remember, so it would have been shortly after my father's sister died from this whole bioweapon that's been used, and innocent lives have been lost, and I hadn't processed it, and I think it's all coming full circle right now, because there's the impact of that. Then you're fighting that, hang on a minute, this stuff is, you know, follow the money, and you go deep down the rabbit hole, and you have all this other crap that's thrown at you, but you still persevere. Then you obviously come across the subject of the children in good faith, thinking that that's going to wake everybody up. And a year on, and I see people still fighting in supermarkets over not wearing a mask. And that's what really upsets me so much internally. I said to her, I don't know if I can watch this movie, although I want to, I have to, because this is really the angle that, you know, I started screaming about, you know, publicly. And you're right, you are right. And I'm very optimistic, or employ that hopium, that is what it will. But given 1 year in, year in, shouting and screaming about this, I know it's a process. I know it's going to take time. It's all brought back the heaviness of this subject.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then it wiped me out for the last 2 days. And I think that, you know, starting to revisit, because what happened was post the election, I sort of put my foot off the gas.
Right.
Everything for me on my post, I didn't get involved in the geopolitical side of things. I didn't understand it as such, or I didn't know enough information to be able to confidently articulate myself, other than just looking at everything and say, Trump's the good guy. This is the real shit that's going on about the kids. Let's scream about it to simplify things. And obviously I've learned and grown along the way, but the children fundamentally is the root of everything. And then the corruption act within every establishment in governments and the echelons of all these elite establishments, and how everything's interconnected with the children. Take the Hampstead cover-up case, how that was just completely silenced.
Terrible.
Yeah, and that's something that I want to revisit. So, you know, you need strength, because this stuff energetically is the energy so dense and heavy, and we're all feeling it. We're all feeling it, because, you know, we're in our purpose. I see it like that spiritually, like we're in our purpose. You know, you have to do this. And I'm like, like, you know, what is it? But yes, it is the subject of the children, Mel, and it's now going to start resurfacing very fiercely, I think.
Well, the problem is really that this complicit media and complicit government officials and Hollywood and all the people that are worried about their own skin in this situation have demonized anyone willing to talk about it. You know, I'm terminated from YouTube because I talked about this movie, you know, forever. Took my 60,000 subscribers.
They stopped I can't, no, I haven't had any news.
It's just, but think about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's not allowed. That's not, that it's a conspiracy theory. You know, I remember when that really nasty reporter said to Donald Trump, can you denounce Q? And he said, I don't know much about them except for that they like me and they seem to really love America. And then the reporter said, well, these people think that you are, you're fighting to break up an international pedophile cannibal sex ring. And he said, is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He is, and he has been for 4.5 years, and that's why he ran. And if that makes us conspiracy theorists or hopium addicts or whatever they're saying we are, I was a false apostle this morning. I talk in terms of facts. There are children being sold 10,000 times, one child, you know, and it is a big, big business. And all the most powerful people connected to Epstein, most of them played a part in this. And it's awful and it's scary and it's horribly sad. And I had a few bad days, but I'll tell you, hearing Jim Caviezel speak and Juan and other people that were there, also Tim Ballard, this guy's such a hero. He's not the only one. Yeah. And now we're watching this faux Biden open the borders. You know, Trump put up the borders because of this, because of child trafficking, because of human trafficking, and to stop the guns and the drugs, but mainly child trafficking. He closed all the ports. That's how they do it in this movie. They show you throwing the kids into the container ships, putting them on the water. They come out a week later. They're all covered, you know, and you watch the kids. You really watch these kids go from just the most adorable, like brilliant, and the child actors in this are so good, to like where they are later. And you know what we talked about there? We talked about kind of just how we have to all fight the censorship and everything, because this is about the children. And don't forget, the whole Q thing started with outing Epstein. So it's a conspiracy theory. Really? We knew about Epstein a year before he got arrested. Exactly. You know, so that's not right. Or we knew about the Fed and the Rothschilds and Soros and that former prince in Saudi Arabia and the trafficking, but it's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. It's all come true. So anyone that's bashing anyone that's, you know, either they've never seen my shows and don't realize that I've been talking about the child trafficking aspect of this for 3.5 years and that it mattered more than anything else. And also, this was never about Trump. This was never about us. This was about hiding their own crimes, ending the investigations. And that's why I believe firmly that we're on the right track and we're going the right way. And this movie, these people that I was with are involved, very involved. And Trump's been fighting for 4 years. You know, all these people, Media Matters, Snopes, all these people, ProPublica, all these people put out, Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, debunked. Trump hasn't done anything for human trafficking. Yes, he has, a lot. And the big thing is, as we discussed, we have to stay very, very focused and strong and keep our energy up, because Jim also talked about when all is revealed, the extent to what we're dealing with here, and that it was an international alliance shutting it down and seizing the assets and property and stuff of these demons that, you know, hunt and use children for either profit or sex or, you know, organ trafficking, baby making, child warriors. You know, what we need to know about that is, you know, there is no explanation that's valid. There is no get out of jail free card. There is, so, you know, all these people who mocked us and make fun of us and, you know, call us horrible names and deplatform us and all that. I have the proof that we're right when it comes to this, for sure. And I have the proof that there are very, very giant people that have been making themselves heroes, you know, in the public eye, who are really, truly demons. And, you know, it's just, to me, the good thing is on the other side, when it's revealed, some people won't believe it, but you're going to have to, because you're going to see the evidence, you know, and that's why seeing this movie is a good idea for people prior to that, because it is coming, to kind of get a grasp of how extreme it was. It's really important to see that, because it's a true story, this, and it's going to be reflected when the cases go to trial, and we are shown the evidence of the travesties that went on these islands. And that's going to be, I think, the unifying moment, because it's not America. It's international. It's
international. And you said that, you know, Trump's been fighting for this for the last 4 years, Mel. I think it predates back even longer. You were looking at the 80s, you know, where he was working with the FBI. You know, how many times have they tried to indict him, right? And they haven't got anything from him. So this is an operation that hasn't been able to, that at the surface level seems like it's 4 years. But look at the enormity of what we're dealing with here, not just within the US. This is a global operation. To bring something down to the swamp. He said the swamp's big. He didn't just refer to the US. It's interconnected with every single country. You look at India. India's got so much corruption. Modi's hated. Modi was hated initially, but he achieved a lot, you know, in the first 4 years. Post 2014. And I don't really follow what goes on in India, so I feel a little bit guilty there. But the things that I kind of am seeing at surface level, you know, trying to decipher, you know, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? You know,
Well, I do believe that he is in on the international alliance that has been trying to bring down these evil people, and their transport of children. He's in on it. I believe G is too, and Abe and all of them. I do. Putin for sure. Mexico, Brazil, the guy from Brazil. Australia. There's people there's two factions of all of our governments, as there's two factions of every agency, as there's two factions. But when it comes to this, the international cabal using children and human beings as commodities all over the world, while they put away their quadrillions of dollars and pretend to be philanthropists, the money never gets to the homeless and mentally ill. The Great Reset is their goal, destroying our businesses, our lives, stealing elections all over the world to get their people in there. And I believe when Trump was talking about the invisible enemy and saying it was like in 187 countries, I think he was talking about the central banks.
Well, look what's happened with the feds this week, you know.
You know, so pay attention. And no, I think we're on the right track. And I'll tell you something, if you were there with me and you listened to this.
I wish I was.
I wish you were too. I so wish you were, but nobody could get out of there. They tried, but I have to tell you. Well, you guys will have to do a screening over there in the UK. But I'll tell you right now that we're on the right track. You know, we're fighting for good and for God, and God wins here. You know, and I firmly believe that these guys. This is happening. This is coming out. This case is not going away, and they're trying so hard. They're trying to save the control of financially of the world through the central bankers, and they're failing. And, you know, Putin, Poland, you know, Modi's getting there. These guys are all saying, no Great Reset. No, thanks. You know, see ya. But where Biden's saying America, you know, he wants to be a globalist, the end of America first, But
well, whoever it is that Biden really?
No, absolutely. I don't know what it is. All I know is it stared into the camera for 3 minutes with nothing to do.
It's just like, you know, his little like gaff. What's his little blue
crazy. But at this point, people, come on. You know, it's like, but I will tell you, you would have left there feeling pumped, because for 2 weeks, you know, once I did the SRA video, and then I started feeling like I was being attacked. And then like, it was like one thing after another. And I was just like, and then the strikes with the YouTube, and I'm thinking, but I'm just telling the truth. Why can't we tell? And then, you know, this and that. And then I went to Vegas. I was just so over it. You know, I was like, oh, I can't take anymore. But I left there totally pumped, because I just gave up thinking there will ever be justice. But I left there believing there will be justice, and it will be coming soon.
You see, Mel, they're attacking you, especially. I mean, me, they've stopped any kind of like growth for my YouTube channel. They haven't wiped me yet, but like Mark's been, he's on strike. I've literally had not one subscriber for like, you know, 3 weeks. You know, I've just stayed, and I was getting like
they're going to wipe us all. This is their plan.
You know, I have no attachment to any of this. You know, the people that
you have to plan now, though, because it's not right, and we are telling the truth. And they
are want to lie about something like this, and think about it.
They're in on it.
Yeah,
money.
You know why?
Money.
Yeah, no, but what you're saying is like, why would we want to lie about something like this? And with yourself in particular, Mel, and I was pondering on this thought the other day, is that you research very well. You know your facts, you know. There's me, a bit like Dory, I'll forget things in 5 minutes, yeah? You know, sorry, what was that? I've done like a year's worth of research, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. You know, I memorized in the first 2 months, like completely all the things that Trump had done, the figures, the stats and everything. Boy, can I remember any of it now. Because I'm exhausted as well, right? You know, it's a tiring journey. I'm not giving up, but you know, you are powerful as well, you know, with the facts, with the stuff, straight and narrow, right? Not all like the flowery stuff that I sometimes.
No, I mean, but more of a matter of, and this is why I hate getting lumped into groups with people. You know, I just read this article, and you know, my friend's like, I was going to respond and be like, wah, and then he's like, nah, why? You know, you're on a list of people we like.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, you're individual. People need to stop bracket. We're friends.
Yeah, it's like, I don't do what other people do. I really became obsessed when I was a kid with totalitarianism and how people could allow evil in front of them. I mean, like, my evolution is very different. I spent many years in Hollywood watching the inside out of that world. And, you know, and I love research, and I write historical drama screenplays. So it's none of it's new to me.
Yeah.
And I see history repeating itself, because we have 2 generations of kids who went through college and high school being indoctrinated into a false reality and told lies that they now fully believe. And that's, you know, we're dealing with people who were not taught history properly. And lied to on a mass scale, brainwashed. And, you know, I just try to put out what I can prove. You know, if I can't prove it, I'll say, I heard this, but I can't prove it. Or I'll say, you know, blah, blah, blah. But there's some things you can prove and just happen to be true. And the international child trafficking ring and the connections at the very top are facts. It's not debatable. It's not a conspiracy theory. People can do their own research if they want to. Of course, not on.
They don't. People are lazy. People are used to being spoon-fed from these, you know, newspaper articles, you know, from some chimp that's been told what to do. And that then, you know, articulates as the truth. So why are you not cross-referencing this journalist, you know? This is the thing. Well,
they're not journalists, first of all. No. We don't have journalists.
There's no credibility.
You and I are more journalists than anyone on CNN or MSNBC. No, because I'm telling you right now, well, yeah, I actually have a degree in journalism from NYU, but a lot of them don't. But, you know, they went probably through these foundations or the NGOs or the think tanks. And then they got paid all this money to be in the Council of Foreign Relations and all this stuff. And then they're telling us, just follow the Great Reset. You'll own nothing and be happy. And we'll give you a stipend to stay home every day and to live boring, horrible lives and eat meat that's made in our labs. And, you know, and you'll be happy, you know, and that's what they're offering. And if people aren't paying attention, then they're the problem, you know, as they always said, you know, these people, this is what I keep saying about all of our governments that turned on us for the globalists and for the one world order and for bribes and scandal and whatever that turned on us. They don't know history either, I guess, because at the end of the day, these government officials that turned on us will be turned on. These people are bigger than them.
Exactly.
You think the people that are paying for Ilhan Omar and AOC and Rashida Tlaib that paid to put them there, and all these people that Soros got into the attorney general's offices and into local communities, and you think all these people at the end of the day with what they really want in the Great Reset are going to get out unscathed and somehow be elevated? No, they're going to also be serfs and slaves if they survive.
Yep.
And, you know, again, it's the same thing, history repeating itself, you know, all because they're not getting rid of the left-wing bloggers right now, doesn't mean they're not coming for them, you know, and that's the slippery slope here. And that's why the pushing of how evil white people are in America, and it's so over the top. All the corporations are in on it, all of the media, all of it, you know, they're blatantly saying they're not going to hire white men anymore, big giant companies, you know, and the white people, it's all our faults. And, you know, there's not one person alive today who had a slave, but now it's like white people have to pay, you know, it's like everyone has their
and blame culture.
Yeah, but also the banks are in on it, the corporations. I look at websites and I think, you know, Black Lives Matter made like $90 billion. It didn't go to Black lives. The inner cities are a mess, you know, and the truth is
Marxist ideologies. It goes back from generation to generations. And
it's divide and conquer. And that's why I said the one thing we have in common, especially us, but like all the people that have been viciously attacked, deplatformed, they've taken our monetization away. Yeah. You know, I have friends that had all they were living on was donations on PayPal that are doing amazing work. PayPal cuts them off. You know, I saw Salesforce cut off Project Veritas. You know, Twitter is cutting off anyone that even questions NATO. So, you know, NATO works for the one world government. So anyone that's if you know anything about anything, you know that them banning anyone questioning NATO is just them saying you're going to follow the Great Reset. See, that's all there is. So, yeah, I mean, we have to keep fighting because
irrespective of how we get penalized by these institutions through censorship and through, you know, the public
bullying.
Through the public bashing us, whatever way, you just got to keep fighting. But tell me, I just had a thought from something that you said earlier, that every single person on the Epstein Island or that's associated with these people that have been, incriminated. I wanted to do a show actually called Guilty by Association. You see, what's going on in the social media platforms, and like, you know, there's all the people that are like, oh my God, all this stuff's happening to the kids now. And then anyone who's just even associated with someone, so say, let's take these gurus, or these political figures or celebrity, you know, is everyone guilty? Because they will have all exchanged some kind of, like, I mean, even Trump, he had to mingle with some of these horrible people because
but that's not, it's not that. No, there's many good people out there.
Of course.
The most important thing to know is that this is a select group of people, and they're always the same people. Yeah, it's very clear who's involved in this level of their cult. It's very clear.
Already been dealt with, right? They have all the information. The NSA have everything.
They have all the information for sure, but you know, I saw Hunter Biden's hard drive. If he's not in jail, how is that humanly possible? The stuff on that, no, it's jail time. But you know what? That's why I look at some of this stuff and I think it's impossible. So I still have to have faith that, you know, so much is being done behind the scenes, but, you know, I do worry about the cognitive dissonance, the gaslighting, the lying to the American people on such a grand scale. The idea that it's necessary at this point is getting ridiculous. I believe that they have all the evidence. When they say they have it all, I believe they have it all. But don't forget, all of Epstein's houses were fully wired with sound and video, and not digital video that can be edited. And we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of blackmail and incriminating evidence on very, very powerful people. They have it all. Now, the problem is our FBI, NSA, all these guys, what are they doing behind the scenes? We haven't seen it. We haven't seen John Durham. We haven't seen this Huber, who may or may not have been doing the Clinton Global Initiative, Clinton Foundation, which is a huge part of the trafficking as well. Exactly. We haven't seen any of Soros's stuff tied to Antifa, Black Lives Matter, any of these groups. And worst of all is we haven't seen the clear evidence yet of Benghazi, Uranium One, you know, any of this stuff. It's all connected. And then on top of that, you know, people want to see justice. And what I believe, honestly, is that we're getting there. But it's just, I think it's just at this point, people are ready. I think that we're at a place where people are ready, and they'd be so, like I said to you a long time ago, to me, my opinion was there's no way that with all we know about the foreign election interference that we can let, and then with everything that Biden's done since, there's no way that there's not going to be an intervention and justice for all.
Sidney Powell's on it. She's on it.
Yep.
You know, so much going
on. So I got to tell you, you would have left there like I left there. It not only is it for the children, but it's for God, country, freedom, humanity, and to get these central bank warlord puppet masters out of our lives and take back our countries, take back our sovereignty, take back our pride in our nations, in our work, in our families, take back prosperity and the ability to chart your own path, because the other path is the Great Reset and communism for the world. And I don't think anyone in their right mind who loves their family, their children, their country, their fellow man would ever want that. Only this group, and I believe that they're the minority, and because of the media and stuff, we're forced to believe that they're the majority, and they're not.
So, and I think we still have a way to go. You know, we do have a way to go. It wasn't just a quick fix. If we think about it and put it in perspective, look how long this has been going on. So sweeping this up has been not just the last 4 years. As I said, this predates back to the 80s, even before. Yeah.
Well, also don't forget, we've only seen Epstein's flight logs from the time that Virginia Roberts was involved.
Exactly.
We haven't seen the 20 years. We haven't seen what was going on at New Mexico. We haven't seen what was going on in Paris. You know, we haven't seen that evidence yet, but it exists and it's not going away. You know, and the worst part about the Biden thing, and why I'm positive that it will have a boomerang soon, is we can't let those cases go away, because he'll bury them. He's already trying to bury the Hunter case and the Burisma case. I believe he has no power, and I believe other people are in control. But again, after seeing this movie and listening to Tim Ballard, and then watching what he's doing on the border, opening it up to migrant kids again, these aren't kids; these are traffic victims. Okay, and it's not, so it's just another level. But I think it's interesting that we saw the movie this weekend. We were invited on purpose to come out and start talking about it, to get it out there, to get people ready for the reality of what's coming next in a very grassroots way. And I believe because it is. And as we said from the very start, this is about the children. The International Alliance isn't about anything but getting this cabal out. Enough's enough. What they do to children, how they treat children all around the world is evil. And this evil needs to be eradicated, and it had to be eradicated to the core. You can't, like with the Nazis and Operation Paperclip, you know, the George H.W.'s father was involved, but high-ranking people in America smuggled out the worst of the worst Nazis in terms of scientists and educated, you know, and really, and the heads of the army and stuff, snuck them out and rebranded here in America, I believe, as the UN. So, and because their whole goal is the one world government, it's the same goal, same people. So, you know, we're all fighting that. The UN comes out the other day and says white nationalism is the worst threat to society. And I'm thinking, so that's any white person that's proud of their country is a threat to society. I mean, what is the point of such a declaration, of all these declarations about how evil we are? You know, what's the point? All people have to do is think, what's the goal? Because the goal isn't good for us.
And surely people can start seeing that these establishments are just full of crap, especially the CDC and even these charities. I mean, you know, they just have to connect the nefarious things that are coming.
We got to get these non-government organizations. So everywhere that there's a giant trafficking hub or a giant problem, you can track in the same exact people that are at the very top. I say them all the time. And it's always the same people. It's always the same people. And they go in with their humanitarian aid and their non-government organizations and their research from their think tanks and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And next thing you know, they own the country. It's full of debt slavery. All their resources are gone. China's building a path through it. It's just like, they're building ports. You know, it's like, it's so obvious and clear.
Hey, listen, I had a BBC journalist, right, literally like berate me publicly to say that, you know, stop this nonsense that you're spewing, because, you know, think about the credible work of all these Prince's Trust charity. They just don't need to say anymore.
You can't even, listen, when their crimes will be revealed.
Yeah.
Okay. And when they are, and they will be.
Yeah.
You think they're messing with Trump to this level? Because he's not going to drop the, they are in, I say, keep going, because I know that his taxes are pristine, and I've known that for 4 years.
They can't indict him on anything. They can't.
Right. And they tried to put all the women stuff on
years. They've been doing it for years, not just 4 years. You know, goes back, you know, way back. But, you know, these organizations and institutions are really going to be showing up. And that's what I'm waiting for.
And I want their money out of our politics. I don't want Soros and Bloomberg and the Clintons and all these people with billions of dollars to be able to buy ads and buy voting systems and contribute. There shouldn't be private money in elections. It's not fair, and it's not good, and it keeps good people out and the bad people in. And all of our countries should really reform so that billionaires and trillionaires who don't have the best interests of the people in their hearts can't flood our election systems with money to get what they want. It's supposed to be our vote, our countries, not theirs. And that's another thing. So I have a lot of hope, and you got to get pumped up again.
Hopium. You have a lot of hopium.
I know. I was just called in some article on some website, phony apostle selling hopium. I'm like, apostle, do you know anything about my life?
Well, look, I'm really looking forward to that movie coming here in the UK and worldwide, and it will hit, and it will go, and it'll be very quick, I feel.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, the biggest problem and why we were there, and why when I get the info, I'll send it on to you, is that this is not a movie that Hollywood wants anyone to see, because they're implicated, you know. And so these guys, if they put it out,
celebs, they're all gonna go down, you know.
Yeah. But if they, but there's a lot of good people too. Yeah. And also there's a lot of people who turned, you know. Don't think Harvey Weinstein's and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Ed Buck and all these people are sitting in jail quiet. No, they're going to all turn on each other. The devil doesn't have loyalty, you know, and they all made deals with the devil. Well, the devil's going to let them burn and run away. And that's what's going to happen here. So
they're going to expose everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But there's all this stuff about, you know, people have been executed and whatever. We need to see and wait.
Yeah, I can't. I don't. That's the thing. When they put me on the list with these people, I say, I've never said any of that. I can't. If I can't prove it, I don't say it. Can I prove that all the same NGOs and billionaires and trillionaires are involved in all these areas where this huge trafficking is happening? Yeah, I can absolutely say that's a fact. But the rest of the stuff, let me see it. But for now, I think we're close, and I agree. But I think we're going to finally hear from Trump. I think soon. Today? Is it today?
I think so. And just on a close note, I think.
And then I think game on. And I honestly, I think that really it's coming soon. It's coming ahead. And I think we're also going to find out that this was a pandemic, and that this was about an election, not about a virus, and that this was their last stand to throw us into the one world government, and they failed. Because God doesn't want that. God wants humans to be free and thriving and choose their own destinies. And that's the opposite of what Joe Biden and the globalists want for us. And God's going to win.
Well, it's a war. It's a spiritual war. There've been casualties at the same time. There's a lot of fierce warriors like yourself. And
I also look forward to, you know, I see them trying to dismantle the amazing work with the Abrahamic Accords. Yeah. And, you know, these same people that we're talking about, these central bankers, they created the division between the Abrahamic religions. You know, like I say all the time, Muslim, Jews, and Christians are supposed to be cousins. If it was modern times and you put that same story in context now with Hera and with Hagar and with Abraham and with Sarah and the whole thing, it would be like a modern you know, we would be a modern family where people were stepbrothers and stepsisters and all of that. But they hijacked the Middle East to be an endless war zone. where it should be the most spiritual place on earth, where anyone can go visit Iran, Egypt, Israel, anytime they want.
Yeah.
You know, and they were making real progress. And I believe that's God's work. So that's another sign to me that this ain't over, not even close.
No. Well, on a parting note, Mel, thank you for all you do, honestly, and keeping your spirits high. And for everyone watching, thank you, you know, for everything, the love and support that, you know, just as much as we get bashed, I think I'd still say 98% has been good. You know,
doesn't matter. On the flip side, it's all going to have been worth it. And we can help people, you know, really start to heal. There's going to be a huge grief situation when people find out how much they've been lied to, when they find out the magnitude of what's been going on behind the scenes with the trafficking and who's involved. There's going to be a true PTSD, denial, a grief,
cognitive dissonance. There's all of that
right.
going on.
And we're going to be there because, you know, it's like a heartbreak, a breakup, but on a massive scale popping out of the matrix. But we're all going to do it because we won't have a choice. And you know what? That's what God wants for us. And anyone that's left behind and refuses to see the truth and to accept it and to learn from it and better themselves in their lives ahead will just miss out, because that's what it's about at this point.
Yeah, everyone's on their own trajectory in their healing. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wanted to tell your audience, I have been terminated.
Huh?
I've been terminated by YouTube. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, I'm available at melkshow.com and at BitChute, the Mel K Show, and that's it. Nothing else is mine. Everything else is fake.
Yeah, and everyone that's listening in, I'm almost finished with my site as well. So, you know, trying to get well, not almost finished, but I'm getting there.
Me too.
Yeah, because I've just noticed the it's just peculiar activity on YouTube. Thing is,
all of it.
You know, I have a lot of the
they're cracking down again. Yeah. They're cracking down again. Listen, if Twitter's saying that anyone that challenges NATO, because most people don't know what NATO is, and it's not for we the people of any of our countries, it's for the globalists. If anyone says anything negative about NATO, Twitter's going to ban them. What? It's so over the top that it has to be.
I don't understand as well. Well, I do understand it. Why am I saying this? But you've got like all these like fake channels that are you saying the same content, yet you personally get, you know,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's a personal thing they're watching. Big Brother's watching.
Oh my God, for me, for sure. There was like 20 channels of me. Now there's like 3 because I complained and then they terminated mine.
Bless you.
Oh, well.
Well, look, same time next week. Thank you, Mel, and I have missed you. As usual, you know, our energies together combined, we've got great synergy, and I know people are going to appreciate this one. This was good and powerful.
Yeah, and I love you, and we're going to see each other soon.